Good evening. I'd like to call to order the Norwalk Common Council meeting for today, January 24th, 2023, beginning at 7:34 p.m. I will be conducting the meeting today. Council President Greg Burnett in place of Mayor Rilling, who is absent this evening. I'd like to start the meeting. I'll ask everyone to please rise and join me in reciting the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I would ask you to please remain standing as we offer a moment of silence on behalf of the victims of Sunday's mass shooting in Monterey Park, California, that claimed the lives of 11 people, and Monday's mass shooting in Half Moon Bay, California, that claimed the lives of 7 people. Thank you. Irene Dixon, our city clerk, if you can please conduct the roll call.
Mr. Burnett,
Present.
Mr. Camacho,
Present.
Mr. Goldstein,
Here.
Ms. Najilski Eichner,
Present.
Ms. Smith, here, Ms. Ayers,
Here.
Mr. Ugelman,
Present.
Ms. Revoluz,
Present.
Ms. Young, here, Mr. Kites,
Here.
Ms. McMurr,
Present.
Ms. Alderman,
Here.
Mr. Meek,
Here.
Mr. Livingston,
Here.
Ms. Shanahan,
Here.
15, we have a quorum.
Thank you. Moving on to the next item in the agenda, which is the acceptance of minutes from the January 10th, 2023 Common Council meeting. Do we have a motion? Yes.
Motion.
Ms. Shanahan.
Councilmember Lisa Shanahan, thank you. Do we have any additions, deletions, or admissions? Yes, Mr. Councilmember Meeks.
Thank you. For the record, I joined the Zoom call at 7:52 p.m. I was here in council chambers behind the locked door on time.
Do we have any other additions, deletions, or admissions? Hearing and seeing none, I'll call for the question. All those in favor show by a raise of your hand, either in person or virtually.
Aye.
Thank you. All opposed have the same right. Any abstentions?
Abstain.
Who was that? Oh, Nicole Ayers.
Nicole.
Councilmember Nicole Ayers abstains. Thank you. Motion passed.
And you have an abstention.
Oh, we have others? Did you have all of those?
Darlene, Ms. Young, Ms. Ayers, and Ms. Smith.
Very good.
I'm on a meeting, honey.
Could you mute,
Jeez.
could you ask those to mute, please?
Can you mute? Yeah, can you mute? You should be able to.
Moving on to the next item in the agenda, which is public participation. Do we have anyone that wishes to speak from the public?
Yes, Diane Loricella.
Okay, if you wish to speak on any item that's on the agenda, you'll have 3 minutes. Please state your name and address for the record.
Good evening, President Burnett and the council and staff. My name for the record is Diane Loricella, 21 Little Fox Lane in West Norwalk. For the record, I had two items that may be on the consent calendar. I guess I'll find that out shortly. But even if these two items are on consent, these are the type of questions that need some sort of answer. And I would like to know if someone could maybe send me those answers after. The first is item 7A under Recreation and Parks, a sole source vendor for the track. I wanted to know, this vendor is also used for artificial turf. I know we're talking about a track in this case. Is there any polluted runoff that we should know about, or the forever chemicals known as PFASs that are going to expected to run off of this material? It is becoming a growing concern. Number 2, item D under land use and building management. I am continuing to do my research on how our city can optimize use of renewables and green infrastructure during public building construction projects, especially with schools. For the Cranberry School, the following questions I hope have been answered, or I would like the answer even after this meeting. Number 1, what percentage of solar or the electric need will be met by the planned solar panels that we've been hearing about? Do we have for the Cranberry School any carport solar? Do we have planned any ground mounted solar? And for the record, those of you need to know that these are two separate types of solar installations. Carport canopies are different than ground mounted solar. All of these things give us additional square footage that allows us to make more electrons. Did we plan to use geothermal? If not, why not for heat instead of just doing traditional heating? The building orientation, too late for that, but that is one way to save money on electricity and heating, and also for children's doing better on tests. It's a thing that Architectural Digest and others have written about. Lastly, was this school considered as a net zero energy school? You will be hearing more about that because of the work that many of us are doing to try to optimize the Norwalk High School project and later the South Norwalk Community School project. I asked, are we optimizing use of making energy on site? I don't think we are. I hope that eventually we will work together to do so as other school districts across the state and the nation are doing so. Thank you for your time. Have a good evening. And I appreciate you. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Do we have anyone else that wishes to speak? Okay, do we have any email communication that was sent in?
No, we don't.
Okay, with that, we'll close public participation and move on to the next item on the agenda, which is resignations and appointments. We have one resignation, which is Jordan Hensley on the Historical Commission, and we have one reappointment. Would anyone like to move the reappointment of Jeffrey Mangles on the Harbor Management Commission?
I would like to.
Councilmember Nora Jagelski-Eichner.
Thank you very much, Chair Burnett. And it is my pleasure to move the reappointment of Jeffrey Mangles to the Harbor Commission. We're very grateful for his contribution to this vital commission. In particular, he brings substantial experience in technology and product management, which, given the complexities of the kinds of projects that the Harbor Commission is being asked to opine on, is really helpful to have someone with that kind of expertise in managing large-scale technology systems. So we really appreciate Mr. Mangles' work, and we look forward to his further service on the commission.
Thank you. Are there any other comments? Hearing, seeing none, I'll call for the vote. All those in favor show by the sign of aye, by raising your hand, either virtually or present. All those opposed have the same right. Any abstentions? The motion passed. Thank you. Moving on in the agenda, comments from mayor's comments. I do have some comments from Mayor Rilling. The first comment is related to the appointment of the new police chief and deputy chief. On behalf of the mayor and the common council, we'd like to congratulate Chief Walsh and Deputy Chief Blake on their appointments leading the Norwalk Police Department. As Mayor Rilling said yesterday, the community is truly in good hands under their leadership. They have both illustrated a deep sense of dedication towards protecting and serving the community. Chief Walsh has been with the department for 35 years, and Deputy Chief Blake has been with the department for 25 years. The city of Norwalk is fortunate to have their leadership and wish them all the success as they begin their new leadership roles. Mayor Rilling would also like to invite everyone to the swearing-in ceremony of Chief James Walsh and Deputy Chief Terrence Blake tomorrow, January 25th at 3:00 p.m. in the concert hall here at City Hall, where several officers will also be sworn in following their promotions. Another item taking place on Monday, January 30th, we would like to invite the community to a plaque unveiling ceremony. Again, Monday, January 30th at 11:30 a.m. to honor the three Norwalk Hill sisters. The Hill sisters, Clara, Elise, and Helena, were leaders in the Connecticut and national the national movement that was impacted and was part of the passage and ratification of the 19th Amendment, which granted women the right to vote. The date, January 30th, was selected because it's the anniversary of the arrival of the Connecticut Women's Association Votes for Women's Campaign Trolley in Norwalk. The trolley actually arrived on January 30th, 1912, to hold a rally for women's voting rights. So again, the mayor would like to also thank many of the city partners for their help in bringing the Hill Sisters plaque to Norwalk. And those organizations includes the Historic Rowayton, the Lockwood Matthews Mansion, the Norwalk Historical Society, the Norwalk History Room, and the Norwalk Library. The exact location of the event will be along the Norwalk River Valley Trail, which faces Maple Street. And you can find more details about the event on the city's media website by tomorrow, Wednesday. And we hope to see many of you there for this special unveiling ceremony. Finally, the mayor announced last Friday that the applications are now open for the final phase of the city's COVID-19 Small Business Grant Program. During this final phase of the program, a minimum of 50 grants are available for eligible Norwalk businesses that have been adversely impacted by the COVID-19 pandemic. Applications are open through February 17th. Interesting parties and entities can go to norwalkforbusiness.org to learn more information and obtain the application. That completes the comments, the remarks from Mayor Rilling. We move on in the council agenda to council president. There's no comments this evening. So we will move right into the council committee, starting with Recreation, Parks, and Cultural Affairs.
Thank you, Council President. 7A, Recreation, Parks, and Cultural Affairs. A1, authorize the purchasing agent to issue a purchase order to TPC Turf Products for the purchase of 3 Toro Workman GTX EFI carts, model number 076409, from the State of Connecticut Jeep Grant account in an amount not to exceed $34,874.44.
Councilmember Darlene Young has moved this item. Are there any questions or comments? Yes, Councilmember Brian Meeks.
Thank you. I'll try to be brief. So 2 weeks ago tonight, we authorized $6.2 million in spending during what was arguably an illegal meeting. Sure, council members were notified 90 minutes prior about the internet outage at 1:25 and also via phone message. But the public was only notified by a Facebook post on a page that maybe a few hundred people ever bother to look at frequently. There were no signs posted at City Hall in the lobby, nor in the vestibule out here of the Lock Council chambers. The security guards knew there was no internet, but were unaware that the meeting was being conducted via Zoom only. And they only knew that they were not requested to unlock council chambers that night. Anecdotally, members of the public also had difficulty accessing the Zoom meeting. If this isn't illegal, then at best, it is unethical and moreover, completely unacceptable. For $10 a month, I have access to Verizon's network via hotspot. This is 10-year-old technology in my hand. How can this city not have reliable backup mechanisms to internet outages? Things happen, of course, and even backups aren't fail-safe. But in the past, pre-COVID, when there were issues with the simulcast of Common Council meetings, they were recorded and posted to YouTube after the fact within a day or so. The meetings in council chambers simply weren't scrapped. Members of the public were not dependent on scanning Facebook to see if we might decide to show up either. This needs to stop. I'm sorry to lengthen your night by a few extra meetings with extra votes.
Excuse me, Councilmember Meeks. I understand you.
This is required under Masons.
No, I understand. I'm just saying your comments should be related to the item that
It
you're
is.
addressing.
I'm finishing.
Okay, please continue.
It's required under Mason's rules when one objects to any facet of the consent calendar. Here I object. Until this city figures out how to conduct public business in public, I will not be voting in the affirmative to approve one single nickel of spend. Not on tonight's 2.3 million ask, nor any money in the future, in any future meeting, until we get our act together. Thank you. I'm done.
Are there any other comments related to the item 1 on the recreation, parks and cultural affairs? Hearing, seeing none, I'll call for the vote. All those in favor show by the sign of raising your hand personally or virtually.
Aye.
All those opposed have the same right. Any abstentions? The motion passed. Moving on to item 2.
7A2, authorize the purchasing agent to issue a purchase order to TPC Turf Products for the purchase of a Toro Groundmaster 5910 mower, model number 31699, from the state of Connecticut Deep Grant account for an amount not to exceed $167,000, $167,069.67.
Do we have any comments related to this item? Hearing, seeing none, I'll call for the vote. All those in favor show by the sign of aye by raising your hand or virtually.
Aye.
All those opposed have the same right. Any abstentions? The motion passed. Moving on to item 3.
7A3, authorize the purchasing agent to issue a purchase order to Field Turf USA, Inc. for the solo source procurement of the replacement of the track at Brian McMahon High School. Pricing of the Sourcewell contract number 060518 FTU in an amount not to exceed $822,600. Account numbers noted.
Do we have any further questions or comments related to this item? Hearing, seeing none, I'll call for the vote. All those in favor show by a raise of your hand, either personally or virtually. All those opposed have the same right. Any abstentions? The motion passed. Thank you. Moving on to Finance and Claims Committee. Item 1 for informational purposes only is the report of the Claims Committee dated January 2023. Item 2 is for informational purposes as well, the narrative on the tax collections dated January 2023. And item 3, informational purposes only also, the monthly tax collectors report dated December 2022. Moving on to item 4, which is proposal for extended due date and extended payment period for the 2021 Grand List Motor Vehicle Supplemental Tax Billing in accordance with CGS 12-142, due date March 1st, 2023, and payable April 1st, 2023. Do we have any questions or comments related to this item? Hearing, seeing none, I'll call for the question. All those in favor, show by a raise of your hand in person or virtually. All those opposed have the same right. Any abstentions? The motion passed. Moving on to public safety and general government.
Thank you, President Burnett. Number C1, as authorized on December 13, 2022 Common Council agenda, authorize the Mayor Harry W. Rilling to execute any and all agreements, documents, and instruments with Axon Enterprise, Inc. for the sole source purchase, installation, and service of body-worn cameras, tasers, dashboard cameras, and related equipment and data storage for an amount not to exceed $460,394.65 annually, account noted. Technical correction for approval. Authorize the Mayor Harry W. Rilling to execute any and all agreements, documents, and instruments with Axon Enterprise, Inc. for the sole source purchase, installation, and service of body-worn cameras, tasers, dashboard cameras, and related equipment and data storage for 5 years for an amount not to exceed $460,394.65 annually, account noted.
Thank you. Do we have any comments or questions related to this item? Hearing, seeing none, I'll call for the question. All those in favor, show by a raise of your hand, either in person or virtually. All those opposed have the same right.
No.
Any abstentions? The motion passed. Moving on to item D, which is land use and building management.
Thank you, Mr. President. Item D1, authorize the mayor, Harry W. Rilling, to execute any and all documents relating to application for financial incentives, including but not limited to Eversource solar incentives and project development forms and agreements as the property owner for the Cranberry Elementary School photovoltaic development project.
Any comments or questions related to this item? Yes, Councilmember Nora Nadjelski.
Thank you, Chair Burnett. Mr. Livingston, given that we had a public comment on this item, would you be able to just give a brief summary of some of the work that is being done at Cranberry to make sure that we are offering solar panels and leveraging our buildings?
Well, that was a broad question, and Mr. Lowe is here. He's probably better positioned to give the full spectrum of the efforts we have put in to make the building energy efficient. Alan, are you there?
Yes, I am.
You want to discuss what we've done with and are doing with Cranberry School and what we've looked at?
Yes, the city has for all major school construction and municipal school construction projects, the city is requiring all the project team made of mechanical engineers, electrical, and the entire engineering team to do a full evaluation of all energy opportunities in terms of renewable energy as well as energy conservation measures. A report for every project. The design team prepares a recommendation and analysis on all these options available. Not every option is available for every property. Sometimes geothermal works for one location but may not work for another location. So again, for every project is a full presentation that is submitted to Land Use and Building Management Committee for the committee to review and comment on. And before we proceed with any design, the specific design for meeting energy needs. For school construction project, there are very strict requirements from the state to minimally meet the state high performance building standard. It's pretty elaborate in terms of meeting those requirements. And we are required to meet those requirements in order to achieve reimbursements. We could have for tonight, I think the question came up is what do we do? the Common Council has the ability to review all the things that we do. And I don't think that at this point, I don't think I want to go into all the detail because each project very specific. So we are in this discussion with Norwalk High School, and we presented the item to Norwalk High School for Norwalk High School energy strategy to the Land Use and Building Management Committee previously. So those information is available. So if any council member want to review those reports and stuff, it's available to you, and just let me know. But I don't think I'm in the position to kind of talk about each building and each effort that we made for each building.
Alan, let me just add that it's available to council members, also available to the public.
Correct. It was a public presentation.
Yeah, it's public. And we had a presentation for the Cranberry School, which would be, I assume would be one of the online.
Yeah, and just a little bit more in terms of solar and different type of solar. We do analysis of rooftop systems, carport system. In fact, on South North School, we're looking at a potential ground mount system right now. So all that information, we haven't started it yet, but actually we did start it yet, but we are not at the point to present to land use. So at some point in the future, it will be presented. So it'll be a very comprehensive evaluation of the financial aspect of it to the committee.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Any further comments or questions? Hearing, seeing none, I'll call for the question. All those in favor, show by a raise of your hand, either in person or virtually. All those opposed have the same right.
No.
Any abstentions? Motion passed. Thank you. Moving on to item E, which is community services.
Thank you, President. Item number E1. Authorize the mayor, Harry W. Rilling, to execute any and all agreements, documents, instruments, or amendments with Fairfield University as may be necessary to allow for students in the university's graduate and undergraduate programs to be placed at the Norwalk Health Department for internships and student learning opportunities. And I think we have Lamont Daniels, Chief Lamont Daniels, and the Health Director, Deanna Diamore, on the line to talk about this. But first, I just would like to say, I think this is a great opportunity for those students to work in one of the state's best health departments from a municipal standpoint. And it shows that we as a community are having a commitment towards education and continuing education. But I'll let Deanna and Chief Lamont talk about that.
Thank you so much, Councilmember Woolman and the rest of the council. Thank you for the opportunity to be here tonight to talk a little bit more about this potential opportunity for us. So this expanded partnership with Fairfield University and other universities is really part of a larger state and national initiative to recruit and retain talented professionals to work in health departments. You know, workforce development is a core component of public health accreditation, the 10 essential public health services, and the foundational public health services, all of which set the standards that a community should expect from a high-functioning health department. We've experienced shortages in the public health workforce within health departments, and we continue to look for ways to create pathways for students to enter into working in local health departments. And we've had great experiences in the past working with interns. We've ended up hiring many of them. And so we're really excited about, formalizing this partnership with Fairfield University and working with them to bring both undergrad and graduate level public health students. So I'm happy to answer any questions anybody has, but they've been a great partner in the past working with us on food access reports, but looking to create, more opportunities to get people involved and experience working in local health departments and wanting to do this great work. So thank you.
Great. Are there any other questions or comments relating to this item? Hearing, seeing none, I'll call for the question. All those in favor, show by a raise of your hand in person or virtually.
Mr. President,
Yes.
Heidi had her hand up.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'll withdraw the question. Heidi, Councilor Heidi.
It's okay. I'm just in support of it. I'm really excited about the internship programs. I think they're amazing, and Fairfield University is a university I will be going to soon. So I was just thrilled to hear about this program. That was it. I didn't mean to stop the vote.
We appreciate your comments. I'll call for the question. All those in favor show by a sign of raising your hand either in person or virtually. All those opposed have the same right.
No.
And any abstentions? The motion passed. Thank you. Moving on, item 2.
Yes, item number E2. Authorize the mayor, Harry W. Rilling, to execute any and all agreements, documents, instruments, or amendments as may be necessary to extend the student practicum internship agreement between the City of Norwalk Health Department and the University of Connecticut Nursing Program. And I believe we have Ms. Diamore on the line if anyone has any questions.
Do we have any questions or comments on this item? Okay, hearing and seeing none, I'll call for the question. All those in favor, show by a raise of your hand, either in person or virtually. All those opposed have the same right.
No.
Any abstentions? The motion passes. Thank you.
And the last item, item E3, authorize the mayor, Harry W. Rilling, to enter into a data sharing agreement with Norwalk Public Schools to allow NPS to share de-identified student data for use in the Norwalk Student BMI Data Report. Again, we have Health Director Diamore who can speak to this item.
Thank you. Do we have any questions or comments relating to this item? Councilmember Brian Meeks.
Just a quick comment. While many and several of these items have no dollars that we're authorizing, they assume capacity in the resources that we're paying for. I don't know if we have capacity or need to take on additional capacity. So my vote remains no, even though they appear to be $0. Thanks.
Do we have any other comments or questions related to this item? Councilmember Heidi Altman.
Thank you. I just wanted to give a quick, I'm going to be a no vote on this. It's not because I'm anti-data sharing. It's not because I think any particular entity is not good at what they're doing. I'm a big fan of our health department. I think when it comes to sharing weights of elementary school students and middle school, especially with young girls, there needs to be increased sensitivity. So that's why I'm a no vote on this, but otherwise I'm for the program.
Okay, thank you. Are there any other comments or questions? Hearing, seeing none, I'll call for the question. All those in favor of this item, show by raising your hand either in person or virtually. All those opposed have the same right.
No.
And I see Councilmember Heidi Altman and Councilmember Brian Meeks. Any abstentions? With that, the motion passes. Thank you. We are now at the close of the agenda. I'll call for a motion to
adjourn. That's what motion to adjourn. Can you hear me?
Yes, we
All right,
can.
I did it.
All those in favor show by a raise of your hand either virtually or in person. All those opposed have the same right. Any abstentions? Motion passed. We stand adjourned. Thank you very much. Have a good rest of your evening.
Good night, everyone.
Thank you, President Burnett.
Thank you.
Thank you.
President, double duty tonight.